go. I'm going to say it. The Wolves are back. I said it. The Wolves are back. Wolves fans, we are riding the high of winning 6 of our last 7 games. The most recent being a double overtime win over the 76ers, and another one of those wins being against public enemy number 1, Jimmy Butler. A win that was complete with Rachel Nichols' chance. Oh yeah. I understand that we are literally a 500 basketball team, but Wolves fans who have been through these ups and downs, mostly downs, understand how exhilarating this is. The composition of this Wolves team is different than it has been in years past. And this video is going to be focused on that composition and breaking down why it is working. We will start from the top down. We will begin with Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, season after season, the incredible talent the Cat is has been criticized for what he isn't, instead of being celebrated for what he is. When Karl came into the league, there was an obsession in the NBA world with the unicorn concept. A 7-foot center type who has the touch and talent of a guard. Kristaps Porzingis was seemingly crowned the unicorn during his 2017-18 All-Star season as the 7'3" forward was drilling threes at a 40% clip. After Tingus Pingus was derailed with injury and league opinion on him polarized, the NBA world seemed to leave the unicorn obsession behind. All while the league's truest unicorn bloomed into one of the most unique offensive talents the league has ever seen. At 7 feet tall, Karl-Anthony Towns has been shooting over 40% from 3 for the majority of his career and has averaged points per game in the mid-20s with consistency. However, because Cat was the cornerstone of a perpetual loser in Minnesota, the NBA media began to see him for his deficiencies. Pundits have constantly grilled Cat as an empty stats player who is a subpar defender. The truth is, though, both of these realities can be true. The most objective analysis that I can give you of Karl-Anthony Towns is that he is an incredible, unique offensive talent who is a subpar defender. And he's a subpar defender in an NBA where the most critical defensive position is the center. Top NBA defenses are distinguished by their rim-protecting big. Rudy Gobert in Utah, AD in Los Angeles, Bam Adebayo in Miami, right? Perimeter defenders are absolutely critical to success, but a true paint presence is what boosts those perimeter defenders to be able to play more aggressively on the outside. Simply put, the Wolves have a lower defensive ceiling than other teams based on Cat alone. With that reality accepted, the Wolves and Chris Finch have done everything in their power to make adjustments around that. And by God, it is actually working. Karl is being utilized as the incredible offensive talent that he is, and the Wolves have built around his defensive deficiencies and are putting him in a position to succeed. Before we get into the rest of the defense, I think it is worth noting that Karl has not been a bad defender this year. Sometimes he does seem a little tuned out, but he is putting up over a block and steal per game. I think we'd all like to see him put up better numbers, defending the rim, and his rebounding seems to have dropped in intensity, and his boards are sub 10 for the first time in his career, which is a bit concerning. But alternatively, he's also shooting a career best 44% from 3. And he gave us that buzzer beater against the Grizzlies. So I'd say for now, it probably evens out. Alright, so getting into the defense, the perimeter defenders on this Wolves team are absolutely, pun intended, they are wolves. They are dogs. Pat Beverly, Jared Vanderbilt, Jane McDaniels, Taurean Prince, Josh Okogie, and Anthony Edwards have all been chipping in on the defensive workload, and it's paying off. The veteran presence and defensive intensity of Pat Bev is exactly what the Wolves have been needing. Edwards is emphatic, and his excited energy has been a difference maker. And his sticky fingers have been on display this year. In addition to his instinctual on-ball defending, Ant has been playing harder and smarter off-ball defense and has been picking up a steal and a half per game. And he blocked Joel Embiid at the end of the second overtime to seal the dub for the Wolves. Whoo, baby, I am just living on that high right now. All the credit in the world to Chris Finch, as the Wolves are 10th in defensive rating. And while that may not be earth-shatteringly good for a Wolves team that has struggled year after year with defense, Finch seems to have patched it up. So tons of credit to him and the Wolves front office for assembling and directing this group of defensive agitators. Now let's touch on the other guys, right? Before we get into the Wolves' other two bona fide star players, I just want to touch on other key contributors from our roster and give them their flowers real quick. Pat Bev, in addition to being a solid defensive contributor, has been getting 4.5 rebounds as well as 4.5 assists thus far this year. He's putting together a well-rounded stat sheet and has been a crucial difference maker as a leader. Malik Beasley is our sixth man, leading the bench in scoring. Coming off the bench in all 20 of his games this year, his production has only been at 10 points a game, which is a bit disappointing in contrast to his 20 per game last year. All around, he just hasn't been a very efficient shooter this year, but let's hope for a return to form for Bees. Ooh, baby, let's talk Vando. Jared Vanderbilt is roughly a non-factor in scoring, but he's just such a great hustle player. He's pulling in 3 offensive boards a game, which is all just a testament to hustle. He's been a surprise starter for the Wolves this year, starting in 13 out of 20 games, and it has absolutely paid off for Chris Finch, and Vando is practically bouncing off the walls with energy, and that has been huge for the Wolves. Now, it wouldn't be a Dunked On video without me giving my love to my guy, Mac Daddy. Now, statistically, not great. Jaden McDaniels has been a contributor as a versatile defender, but his production has been disappointing this year compared to his rookie year, but a sophomore shooting slump is not exactly unusual in the NBA, so let's hope Mac Daddy gets his stroke back and can get back to just contributing all around as just a well-rounded support player. Naz Reid has not had the most remarkable season, but he did hit that 3 in overtime against the Sixers, so all's forgiven. All right, so the wolf in limbo going into this season was D'Angelo Russell. Upon joining the Wolves, the expectation for D'Angelo was to run a 2-man show on offense with Karl and to be the primary ball handler for the Wolves. Now, the unexpected acquisition of the first overall pick that became Anthony Edwards and the emergence of Anthony Edwards as a future all-star has certainly infringed on D'Lo's offensive workload. In my head, D'Angelo had kind of gotten saddled into a third scorer's role, and in a way, he'd been sort of just boshed. However, the numbers don't really reflect this. D'Angelo actually puts up the second most shots per game, second to only Ant. Yeah, D'Lo gets up more shots than Towns, which was surprising to me. But this just goes to show the balance that Chris Finch has been able to instill in this team, as all 3 of our big 3 guys are eating, and there really does seem to be enough ball to go around for all of them. D'Angelo has reminded us why he earned that clutch reputation with the Nets, as he has been a killer in the fourth quarter, and in the case of the 76ers, a killer in OT and in double OT. D'Lo has been putting up a block and a steal per game, and while the steals are roughly on par, a full block per game has certainly been surprising from him. I know that we are all sick, the NBA world and Wolves fans, we are sick to death of the Ben Simmons trade talk, and after what D'Angelo just did to the Sixers, I think we can put it to bed and accept that this Wolves team is what it is for this season. We're not dealing D'Lo for Ben Simmons. right? We've got our team, we've got our roster put together. This is who the Wolves are. And maybe the team itself has known that for some time, but as fans, I think it's nice to finally stamp a seal on it and buy into this identity of what we are right now. All right, now I apologize for bearing the lead. Anthony Edwards could have been the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth thing I discussed in this video. And oh, Wolves fans, doesn't it feel good? It feels so alive. I am living and dying on this Anthony Edwards hype. I'm telling you, just wake up in the morning, watch a highlight reel from him. It's like crack. It is excitement personified. Ant Edwards has breathed life into the Minnesota Timberwolves. The highlights, the swagger, the defense, the earth-shattering slams, the intangibles. Anthony Edwards is undeniable. I am getting worked up just talking about him. He's putting up 22 a game. He's shooting 35% from three, and while the shooting percentage itself isn't awe-inspiring, he pulls up with confidence and has drilled some deep threes this season. His three may not be the most efficient, but defenses have to step out to him because when he gets hot, god damn, he gets hot. The refs may have taken away the dunk of the year from Ant against the Heat, but by God, we all saw what happened. The world saw what happened. So folks, buy your Ant jerseys now because he is going to be putting on a show in Minnesota, and you don't want to miss it. At this exact minute, the Timberwolves are 10-10, and we sit at 7th in the West, but it is a dead heat in the Western Conference. Teams 4 through 10 are nearly identical in record. The Wolves have a tough run coming up too. In the next 10 games, we've got the Nets, Hawks, Jazz, Blazers, Nuggets, Lakers, and Mavericks. Hell, even the Wizards and the Cavs, who are in theory the worst teams that we play over the next 10, are both putting together respectable seasons. So the waters could get rough for the Wolves shortly. But when you look at the Western Conference, I still feel good about the Wolves securing, at worst, a play-in spot. Look at it this way. For the Wolves to miss the play-in, we'd have to drop below 10th. The teams below 10th, in my opinion, don't really pose a threat. I think we're a solid level up from them. The Rockets and Thunder are certified tankers. The Spurs are a young team without true star players. The Pelicans do plan to improve with the return of Zion, but they have been a total stinkfest thus far this season. And then finally the Kings, who are once again in turmoil, man. They got fans puking on the court. They are firing coaches. Like, as a Wolves fan, at the very least, we've always been able to take comfort on what they got going on over there in Sacramento. But, you know, for real, those strongest threats to the 10th spot for us are either the Pelicans or the Kings, depending how strong the bounce back is for the Pelicans, or if the Kings can find any sort of rhythm or stride. The dreamer within me wants to say that we're going to stay on pace and end up in a real playoff spot, but being realistic, the Lakers and the Nuggets are both below us right now and slumping. It's hard to imagine they're going to continue playing this way. So, you know, remain calm when they pass us up, because I think it's coming, but it's not a mean to give up on the team, right? The Wolves, powerful scoring big three, surprising defensive urgency, and awe-inspiring highlights have made this the most promising Wolves season in years. So even though it might not end up in a 6th seed or a 7th seed, it's still a huge step in the right direction for us thus far. So Wolves fans, I know it's hard to buy into the hype. We've been through a lot, but I'm telling you, Anthony Edwards is must watch. So throw away that caution that every Minnesota sports fan carries around with them and buy in. Get hype. It's Wolves season, baby. Stay lit. Thanks for watching.